I killed him. The room went silent. At 9:14 p.m., a 17-year-old boy looked a homicide detective in the eye and said something no one expected. The detective didn't rush. He didn't reach for handcuffs. He simply leaned back and studied the boy sitting across from him, skin pale, hands shaking, eyes rimmed red from crying. This wasn't how confessions usually looked. Lucas Reed was 17 years old. No criminal record. No history of violence. A high school junior who played video games, struggled in math, and still lived with his mother. The man he claimed to have killed was 53-year-old Thomas Keller. In their town, Keller was untouchable. A respected volunteer. A donor to youth programs. A familiar face at church fundraisers. People described him as quiet, generous, and dependable. The kind of man you trusted without thinking twice. Which is why, when Lucas confessed, police didn't believe him. Lucas's story came out in fragments. He cried. He contradicted himself. He jumped ahead, then doubled back. He couldn't explain details clearly. Sometimes he went silent for long stretches, staring at the table like he'd disappeared inside his own head. To detectives, it looked like a false confession. Teenagers did this sometimes. Overwhelmed. Guilty about something else. Looking for attention. Trying to protect someone. So they challenged him. They told Lucas the evidence didn't line up. That his story didn't make sense. That Keller was a good man. Lucas didn't argue. He just kept saying the same thing. He was going to do it again. Detectives turned their focus back to the victim. Thomas Keller's home showed no signs of forced entry. No robbery. No chaos. Just a struggle that escalated too fast. They assumed Lucas had fabricated the confession. Until the forensic report came back. Digital analysts uncovered something no one was prepared for. Hidden cameras. Small ones. Concealed inside everyday objects. Positioned in places no one should ever have been watching. Then came the online accounts. Usernames linked to Keller. Message histories stretching back years. Conversations with teens, some as young as 14. Carefully worded at first. Friendly. Encouraging. Then darker. More personal. Requests no adult should ever make. Detectives sat in silence as they read. The respected community figure wasn't who anyone thought he was. When they returned to the interrogation room, the tone had changed. They didn't accuse Lucas this time. They asked him to tell the story again. Slowly. Lucas's voice shook as he spoke. He said Keller had contacted him months earlier. Offered help. Advice. Support. Said he understood him. Said he could be trusted. Then one night, things crossed a line. Lucas said he tried to leave. Keller blocked the door. Threatened him. Told him no one would believe a troubled kid over a respected man. Fear took over. Lucas said he didn't remember every detail. Only the moment he realized he couldn't get away. The room stayed quiet when he finished. No one spoke for a long time. Because suddenly, Lucas's messy story made sense. This wasn't a confession built on lies. It was trauma spilling out without structure. At trial, the town split in two. Some refused to accept the truth. They defended Keller. Called the evidence exaggerated. Claimed Lucas was manipulating the narrative. Others couldn't ignore what was uncovered. The cameras, the messages, the pattern. Experts testified that victims of grooming often struggle to recount events clearly. That fear scrambles memory. That panic doesn't follow timelines. Lucas hadn't planned anything. He had reacted. The jury deliberated carefully. When the verdict was read, the courtroom was silent. Lucas Reed was not convicted of murder. The evidence spoke louder than disbelief ever could. Today, that town still struggles with the case. Not because of what Lucas did, but because of who Thomas Keller really was. And investigators still reference the interrogation as a reminder. Sometimes the truth doesn't sound clean. Sometimes it doesn't make sense at first. Sometimes it comes from the person no one wants to believe. But when the evidence speaks, it doesn't whisper. It tells the truth whether anyone is ready to hear it or not.